With Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium, or as I like to call it, Kang Quantumanium, coming this week, we're going to look at a few character beginnings. I'm Rain Coleman, the Carefree Black Nerd, and this is the Kang Suite. Now, Kang is a Marvel Comics character. He was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. He first appeared in Fantastic Four issue number 19. That was back in October of 1963, but he appeared as Rama Tut. We're going to focus on his Kang official origin, which is in the Avengers issue number 8 in September of 1964. So in this issue, we open up with the Avengers, of course. Now, the Avengers are on their way to their headquarters in order to speak to the Pentagon because there is a disturbance. Now, in this issue or in this book, there is no awareness of Anthony Stark as Iron Man. No one knows that Iron Man is Anthony Stark and that he's funding this whole operation. Also, there's no permanent leader. So Giant Man says that Cap should take over as leader of this particular meeting, which was an interesting thing to me because I wasn't aware that there was not a head leader in charge. I know that it's a group of ragtag heroes, but having no one as the default leader at this time is news to me, and it's very interesting. This book is old school proper. So dialogue, invention, and sexism. So with the dialogue, a lot of the conversations happening in this book was just explaining what is going on. Even after the narration box is already explained, they're going to do X, Y, and Z. It is followed up by a thought bubble or a voice bubble that says, we're doing X, Y, and Z. It was hilarious. All 20-something pages of this book that was happening nonstop. And it was funny. It, of course, harkens back to a older, more greener time, and it didn't bother me. It was just kind of funny. With invention, there are so many inventions. So even when the Avengers are sitting down speaking with the Pentagon, they are making sure that they're scrambling the signal so that nobody can listen in on them. That was something I thought was really interesting. There are a slew of weapons that are these altered, futuristic for the time type weapons that are being used for both on Kang's side and the Avengers side. And then with the sexism, there is a line that the Wasp says in this issue that makes absolutely no sense. If you remove this line, the book reads exactly the same, nothing changes. And if you keep it in, it's just a throwaway line. When they go to confront Kang, she says something to the effect of, "Oh, I bet he's good looking under that silly looking mask." Why was that included? So that speaks to a larger issue of the time when it came to women characters in comics. But again, if you remove that line, nothing about the comic changes. And me, through my 2022-2023 mind, I was thinking, okay, well, maybe her and Kang are going to have some little kind of almost love affair later on in the book. No, that line didn't pay off at all. So no reason for it to be there. What I do like about this issue is that you could tell, or at least infer, that the creative team was having a fun time with this story. It is, for all its absurdity and that one little one-off line and whatever, it feels like a fun comic. I had a good time reading it. And there were moments of like anxiousness, like, oh, are they going to get out of this? Of course they are, but it was still built in. So all in all, I thought it was a great issue. And if you haven't read that first issue of Kang's first official appearance, you have to check it out. Now, Kang in this issue, he is sassy and he is funny as heck. Of course, he's sassy by today's 2023 standards, but he landed on Earth, started destroying stuff, and as soon as he made contact with any humans, he demanded to see Earth's leaders. Now, in the midst of that, he was talking cash shit about them. Of course, the conversation with the Pentagon earlier in the issue was alluding to this. So the government sent the Avengers, and even when the Avengers showed up, he was still reading them. Like, it was like Kang did not come to play. That was hilarious to me. But again, looking at this through 2023, 2022 eyes, standards, culture, it makes it a little bit more funny than I'm sure it was intended, but Kang would not get his foot off their necks. So after getting his demands met and meeting with the government official asks him to explain himself, and Kang says, "I will not be explaining myself." And then he goes and explains himself. That was like the funniest thing. But in the midst of doing that, and throughout the issue, he's constantly being told that he's so confident. And with his confidence, with this sassiness, and with him like immediately backtracking and doing the thing he said he wasn't going to do, and his futuristic weapons, that made this a very fun read for me. And I would implore you, read this issue. So Kang explains throughout, while speaking to the government official and to the Avengers and everyone else that's looking on, he goes to explain his travels through time and how he was Ramatut before, which was his first origin back in the Fantastic Four issue, and how he was Ramatut. He was swung forward in time and backwards in time and overthrew these people and got captured and went to 4,000 BC. Like, he went all over the place and ultimately settled here in this 1963 Earth. But like, right after you said you wouldn't explain yourself, you go into grave detail explaining yourself. Now, the funny thing for me is that throughout this issue, he goes on to say several times how he wants to conquer the Earth. And why? No other reason but that he can. And that's Kang's first official and kind of sort of backdoor to his first on-screen, on-panel appearance. So go ahead and dive into that issue, or maybe those first two issues of Kang's first appearance, to prepare for Kang Quantumania. All right, y'all.
And I will burn them out of time.